This live event coverage is brought to you by Whole Being Institute, an educational organization focusing on learning and living the science of human flourishing. Take a free week-long course on positive psychology at wholebeinginstitute.com/7-day. Hi, I'm Christina Suzuma with YogaHub.tv here at the Faces Mindfulness and Compassion Conference in San Diego, California. It's been quite a weekend. And right now I have one of the wonderful speakers with me, Dr. Elisha Goldstein. And he was a speaker today, and we heard the whole room go, woohoo!
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
So can you tell us, Dr. Goldstein, what you talked about today to the audience?
Well, I think the main focus of today was teaching people how to uncover happiness. I mean, and then what we do in order to do that is look at what unhappiness is. And I've always been interested in what the brain looks like when people are unhappy or depressed. And so we find there's certain areas of the brain that we can shift or actually grow new neural connections with by doing a few different things, and that's developing mindfulness. Mindfulness creates key changes in the brain that are natural antidepressants. Self-compassion, the idea of noticing that we're struggling in a moment, inclining to be supportive with ourselves, and also being aware that we're not alone in this whole human endeavor, right? Also, compassion, getting outside of ourselves and reaching out, being generous with other people who are struggling. Because oftentimes when we're not feeling well, it's a me type of thing. What's wrong with me? It's a really self-focused thing that only digs us deeper. And so getting outside of ourselves to help is a key aspect of being happy. When I say happy, I mean like really deeply happy in an enduring way, not just like feeling joy in a particular moment, but in a more enduring type of way. And so then a key determinant in the whole thing that people don't talk enough about is play. How to teach adolescents and adults how to play again. Yes. And so we did a lot of that in this conference, which brought on a lot of smiles, but also showed people how integrating more play, cultivating that in our lives is a key resiliency factor. It bounces us not only back up from when we're down, but also allows us to stay and savor moments that feel really good. And the final one is this one that develops confidence with all of this, which is having a learning mindset. Oftentimes in our culture, when we're doing something, we're looking at, are we accomplishing something? Are we performing well? And the key is actually seeing if we can set that aside and say more, what am I learning? So if I'm not performing well, then what are the obstacles? And can I learn from those obstacles and then bring them back again and move forward? So those 5 natural antidepressants of mindfulness, self-compassion, compassion, play, and having that learning mindset, which creates confidence, is pretty much what we integrated today through like teaching and also experience.
I wish I was in that room.
Fun.
It sounded like everyone was having a great time in there. And also there was a moment where we heard you had a track of laughter. Yeah.
Well, that was during the play part. So, the track, you mean, okay, when people were watching it. Yeah. So that was to show that happiness is contagious. So I had people watch other people on a screen laughing and starting to laugh. And as they did it, the whole room started to kind of laugh. And they started to laugh because other people were laughing. And many people, when I said how many people laughed out loud, pretty much everyone raised their hand. So there's an emotional contagion. Happiness is contagious. In our culture, we kind of feel like we need to hide our happiness a lot of the times. Like it's not okay, it's not productive to be happy. We just, have to work. And so the more we are able to share, like if we're feeling good, the more it gives other people permission to do that too, and it becomes contagious, and there's more of that will spread around.
Lovely. I work with some kindergartners every morning, and it's very interesting how that affects each of them. If one starts to giggle, the next one starts to giggle, and it's just...
Adults are the same? Adults are the same.
Somewhere we lost that, didn't we?
That's right, yeah. Because at some point during teen or adolescence, we start to get these messages from our schools and our parents and our various institutions that again, play is not productive. We need to focus on achieving these test scores, achieving this type of work ethic, and in adolescence, you see it's already shrinking away. Kids, you see like a lot of young kids and even kids up until like age 10 or so, really being freely playing. But then something happens around 11, 12, 13. Around that time, it starts getting squashed a little by little. And by the time we're adults, play is now something that's not productive. It's a guilty pleasure. It's petty. And the only kind of play that's okay is competitive play. And so, when we learn how to uncover what that means to us as an adults and we start doing it, it gives other people permission to do it, as I said before, which I think is really critical, because then it's not about us, it's about creating a contagion effect, which allows for greater resiliency during difficult times and also allows us to be generally more happy.
That's wonderful, really wonderful work. Thank you so much. This is like, we have to really get your books out there, because I think that's what we're truly lacking around the world. There's so much fear now that if we can learn that play and finding that happiness, I think you rock.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I think where the entranceway into our culture is understanding the science behind it, too. So it's the action of it, but there's also a lot of science and neuroscience behind play, and how it impacts our brain in really positive ways. And so that's the entryway in our culture, because we're a very scientific culture. Yes. And so balancing it with that is really important. So that was the advent, those natural antidepressants, including play, was the real impetus behind uncovering happiness.
Now, do you find that like a lot of therapists are beginning to adapt this sort of formula and working with their clients?
Well, hopefully in coming to these conferences, they do more and more. And if you look at just images of past therapists over the past 50 years, you'll see a lot of very serious, depressed-looking faces. I know, and more common, like now you see people starting to smile a little bit more. So you are seeing a little bit of shift in like just people's profile pictures as far as therapists, and more therapists are like into what goes beyond just these kind of classic modalities that we've had that are very serious, and the importance of something like play as an example, or how to have a learning mindset, how to be curious again, is feels better and actually is quite effective and impactful.
It's wonderful work you're doing. I love it. Can you tell our audience a way to find your work and what it is that you're involved in next?
Sure. Well, you can always find out more from going to elishagoldstein.com. That's my website. Our center's website, because I'm a co-founder of the Center for Mindful Living in LA, is mindfullivingla.org. And if they do that, they'll also find very soon that I'm developing a 6-month course. So it's a live online course to help people really integrate this and cultivate it into their bones, so they really experience it from the inside out.
And that's up and coming.
That's coming. Yeah, that's coming very soon. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we have to follow up with you and get that on rolling out there for everyone to participate in.
Great.
Thank you so much for your time and for your gift to this planet. I really appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christina Suzuma of YogaHub.tv, and please check out the websites and follow his work. It's wonderful. Until next time, namaste.
The most foundational and one of my personal favorites is the Certificate in Positive Psychology. This is our foundational program because it's a long-term positive change aspect. So it's a 12-month program. It has 10 modules, 2 of which are on-site, 8 of which are online.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because if you're going to instill change over a long period of time, it's not just learning about it, but it's actually engaging in habits and behavior change that support you in the direction that you wish to head.